breath.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jason OG, and today we're going to be talking about the fascinating world of leeches. We're going to be talking about biology, ecology, and medical uses that were related to leeches. Here we go. So, why did I pick leeches? So, leeches are segmented worms belonging to the phylum Annelida and are close relatives of the familiar earthworm. These intriguing creatures exhibit a wide range of lifestyles, with some species famously known for their blood-feeding habits, hematophagy, while others play a more predatory role in their ecosystems. This diversity in feeding behavior, coupled with their unique anatomical and physiological adaptations, make leeches a captivating group of animals. So in this lesson, we're going to be learning a lot about leeches than what we usually know. Here we go. So here's the things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the basics, the ones we already know. Then we're going to talk about how it actually survives in the habitat, probably the ones that we probably do not know. And even deeper into that, we're going to talk about the leech's impact of them. And last but not least, here are the resources of use to back up for the evidence for the first three topics that we're going to talk about. Here you go. Starting with the basics of leeches. So, a common and scientific name for leech is, well, common name, first of all, is a leech, right? The scientific name you may not know is called Hirudinea. I'm going to say it again, Hirudinea. That's a scientific name for a leech. And you can link that up with any type of leech that you can link up with. So for example, if you were to put like a medicinal leech, you say, for this full scientific name, you would say Hirudinea medicinalis, like that. So, and to my right, you have the biological classification. So each column represents each type of leech, right? So obviously, every leech has the same class, it's Hirudinea, and the same subclass, which is Euchirudinea, right? However, in these two right here, the order for this leech, right, is Rhincobdelida. But the order for this one right here is called Arincodelia. So there are clearly actually several differences between each leech, that which proves the diversity and leeches all over the world, right? So how do leeches survive in their habitat? So, first of all, in order to know how they survive in habitat, we need to know what habitats they live in, right? So they live in a diverse array of environments. Usually, when we think of leeches, we usually think that they live in small environments like freshwater ecosystems, lakes, ponds, and streams, but they also live in terrestrial environments like vegetation found in tropical forests, and also they live in marine environments, so they can actually survive in the ocean as well. So how do leeches get their food? Well, we have two types of them. We have blood-sucking leeches, the ones that we already know about, but then we also have predatory leeches. So these organisms, the hematophages or blood-sucking leeches, these organisms utilize suckers to attach to a host and separate anticoagulants to impede blood coagulation, thereby facilitating the consumption of the host's blood, right? And for the predatory leeches, this group consumes small invertebrates, including insect larvae, snails, and worms. Some species ingest their prey whole, whereas others employ a proboscis to extract soft tissue. Proboscis is basically what it said in the sentence. Basically, um it's it's mainly just to describe an organ in one animal's body that's used to suck things up. And so leeches are able to, and as we're going to go over, we're actually going to go over the anatomical structure of leeches later on. But we'll soon find out how is able to use proboscis to extract the soft tissue in these animals and to consume blood, our blood. And so here's the anatomical structure of the leeches. So right here, you can see the head sucker on this end. You can see the head sucker over here on this end. And you can see the posterior sucker right here. So you had suckers on two ends, right? And this is the mark that it makes from the head sucker. So if you see it, so you see an arm, so if your arm is looks like this, if you have a part of your body that looks like this, it's most likely because your head was because the leech's head sucked your blood. All right, and then on this side was is a more detailed examination of the leech. So right here you have the head, right here you have the posterior sucker, and in this posterior sucker, they actually this is where they release, their anus, the anus, the rectum, so their intestines, because it's like one, like if you look at it without it moving, because it's like a more simple structured organism, it's gonna go out here from the top and it's gonna come down here on the bottom, right here. And here in its head, we're gonna look at its mouth. You see its jaws are inside the head. And you have its pharynx right here where it's able to take in the blood and take in the animal and eat their prey. And here you have the salivary ductules that right at the side of the organism, right here. All right, now let's talk about the predators and the prey of leeches. So, leeches are actually preyed upon various animals, including fish, birds, turtles, snakes, and certain invertebrates. So there are a lot of animals that tend to eat them, but but they are also able to eat other animals as well, right? So prey, I think Berta talked about this. Hematophages leeches feed on blood of vertebrates, encompassing mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. Predatory leeches consume invertebrates. All right, and here are some unique evolved traits of leeches. So I think we talked about this earlier. It's called anticoagulants. So it's the secretion of substances like hirudin, a potent anticoagulant to prevent blood clotting. This allows them to feed efficiently. So this anticoagulant is actually used to help like open up like the blood, in our skin, so they can easily suck up the blood, in their own convenience. And then there's anesthesia, this secretion of substances to numb the host so their feeding goes unnoticed, right? So they're so basically what this means is you won't even know if the leech is actually sucking. You won't even hurt you until after that. So this anesthesia, it just makes you numb to the teeth, to the suckers of the leech that's sucking it in, right? And then we have the segmented body. Their segmented body allows their flexibility and the movement around the place. And so last but not least, we're going to talk about the leech's impact on the world. And it's a lot if you think about it. So, what's their impact on humankind? So, if you didn't know, here's a little history. Back in the day, I'm talking like BC, leeches were actually used for medicinal uses. So it says leeches have been employed historically for bloodletting. In contemporary medicine, they are utilized in microsurgery to prevent blood clotting, reduce swelling, and enhance circulation following reconstructive surgical procedures. So notice that it mentions about the blood clotting. What do we say was the one that helps to release the blood clotting? It's the anticoagulants, right? The leech's head uses the anticoagulants in order to free up the space for the blood for them to suck in of the blood. So they figured you know they figured that because it's used to prevent this blood clotting, why do they use that to help with the circulation of the blood in humans? So they use that. And also, leech saliva contains valuable compounds such as hirudin, an anticoagulant, calin, which inhibits blood coagulation, and hyaluronidase, which increases tissue permeability. And so here's some evidence of them. A systematic review of clinical trials has indicated that leech therapy has demonstrated successful outcomes in treating various conditions, including hormonal and metabolic complications, cardiovascular problems, and inflammatory-based diseases. Leech saliva contains a rich array of bioactive compounds, including platelet inhibitors, anticoagulants, anti-inflammatory agents, thrombin regulators, vasodilators, analgesics, and microbial substances. Enzymes like elgens, eglins, bedelins, uridine, destabilase, and calin contribute to skin wound healing. Medicinal leech therapy stimulates circulation in tissues threatened by post-operative venous congestion, particularly in finger reattachment and reconstructive surgery of the ear, nose, and lip. So the FDA classified leech therapy as a medical device in 2004. So we still use it today. Here we go. All right, there's also leeches can also help the ecology of our environment. So the presence of an abundance of certain leech species can serve as indicators of environmental health in aquatic ecosystems. Change in the leech populations may signal pollution or other disturbances. So first, for the habitat requirements, many leeches have specific requirements for water, oxygen levels, and substrate composition. Changes in these factors, often due to pollution, are often due to pollution or habitat destruction that can negatively impact leech populations. Leech species are particularly sensitive to pollutants such as heavy metals and organic toxins. The absence or decline in numbers can signal the presence of these pollutants, even if other organisms seem unaffected. And finally, bioaccumulation. Leeches can accumulate pollutants in their tissues over time. Analyzing these tissues can provide valuable information about the long-term exposure of the ecosystem to pollutants, right? And here's the resources used. And that's it. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you guys learned something new about leeches.